For Sentinel.com, this is Ira Winderman with your latest Ask Ira Miami Heat mailbag. Our first question today comes from Aura, who says, Miami has proven scorers in Goran Dragic, Dion Waiters, and maybe Hassan Whiteside. After those three, everyone else is a question mark. A few things here. First of all, this is what happens when you allow Dwyane Wade to depart in the midst of the uncertainty with Chris Bosh. You wind up in a situation where you have to find offense anywhere you can. To me, this is all part of a means of maybe stepping back and having to really reassess how high a ceiling is on a player, especially offensively. Take Hassan Whiteside. At $98 million over 4 years, yes, you'd like to see a little more scoring. With Goran Dragic, Dwyane Wade is no longer in the way. The backcourt can be his if he makes it that way. And with Dion Waiters, it's no longer a case of LeBron James and other stars ahead of him in Cleveland, or even all the talent he had ahead of him in Oklahoma City. This is his opportunity to step forward. So for the Heat to score enough, it probably has to be those three amid the uncertainty with Chris Bosh. How high is their ceiling? We're about to find out. Our second question comes from Harry, who says, Goran Dragic won't be able to play next to Dion Waiters. 2 small guards equals toasts. Well, I'm not into Harry talking about breakfast treats, so I won't go anywhere with the second part of your question. What I will say is this, I appreciate where you're going. And that's why I think Josh Richardson would make sense in the starting backcourt because of that extra length and height that you're talking about. I think it's something that would work for the Heat. I also think it's something that might work for Dion Waiters. There's not a lot of scoring in the Heat second unit. You put Waiters out with that group, he could score as much as he wants. He can really showcase his offensive skills probably much more with the second unit than the first unit. But what exactly was the guarantee to get Dion Waiters to take such a pay cut to come to the Heat? This will really be interesting to see how Eric Spoelstra massages that situation. And our last question comes from Tom in Chapel Hill, who says, so the Skyforce's prospects for repeating as D-League champions are looking pretty good, eh? Tom, I know where you're going with this. You have players like Rodney McGruder, Okara White, Stefan Jankovic, and maybe even Dwyane Wade, who could sort of get closed out amid the Heat's roster glut, all winding up with the Skyforce that won the championship last year in the D-League. That's a shame of the Heat's roster glut, that so many of these prospects could be limited in their overall chances. I do think it makes sense on some levels. Stefan Jankovic needs the seasoning, maybe even Okara White. Rodney McGruder has proven that he's a quality D-League player when not ashore. Dwyane Wade, yeah, he might wind up getting stuck. You're certainly right. Adam Simon, the Heat's general manager of the Sioux Falls Skyforce, he's well positioned going into camp. But keep in mind also, 2 years ago, Tyler Johnson was cut by the Heat at the end of training camp, went to the Skyforce, was re-signed in midseason, and as they say, well, the rest of the story speaks for its $50 million self. So there's still hope, even if some of the prospects are cut at the end of camp. Those are today's 3 questions. We'll be back tomorrow with 3 more. For SunSentinel.com, I'm Ira Winderman.